Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 306, routing down the last couple of vinyls I currently have in my collection. And I've got, I think, just a couple more for now. But today we are going to make up for the last album that we had by this artist, which was a, sort of other people redoing his work. It was part of the collection, so I was happy to have it, but probably not one I'll listen to again anytime soon because I just didn't enjoy what they did with his music. However, today we're going to have a little redemption. We're going to go back to a promo version of one of his works that came out probably really just for radio stations, and this is of course Patrick O'Hearn. I did not care for Mix Up. I'm sorry, it just was not my cup of tea, but I don't I don't mind remakes, but when somebody completely reimagines somebody's song into something entirely different, just write your own fucking song. So we have a just very generic cover because this was not a public release. So it's just, it's a nice slipcase, very solid, durable cardboard, but there's nothing to it. Even the album itself, now you guys know if you've watched this series for a while, you know what a fan I am of the Private Music label. Today we just get the generic, we're not even using colored ink. This is for radio stations or maybe college stations kind of thing. It does still have the logo on it, which is nice. In fact, the logo looks kind of weird without the colors now to me. I don't know what you guys think, but in any case, no track list or anything on the jacket because again, it's just generic. But what we do get is the track list on the album, which I often find doesn't really help because if you're listening to the album, you're like, what's the name of that song? You're like, hang on, you can't figure it out, especially if it's a 45, forget about it. But let's take a look at what we get. So I don't know all of these songs yet, at least not by name anyway. At First Light, I don't recall which album that is on, and it's not coming to me by title, but Beauty and Darkness, absolutely love that song. This is private selections from Ancient Dreams, by the way, which I do have on vinyl. And then we get Beauty and Darkness, one of my favorites, Ancient Dreams. Ancient Dreams is the song that started it all for me as far as wanting to be a new age artist. It was the one that inspired my song Dreamscape, as well as just following that path because this was a kind of music I didn't know existed until a friend of mine at work drew my name for the Christmas gift exchange and got me the World of Private Music, which was the Private Music label sampler. And Ancient Dreams was one that I would come to just absolutely love. It was not on there, but it was on his best of, which was the very next thing that I got. Then we finish this out with Malevolent Landscape, which is another wonderful song. We go to side 2. Again, this is just a sampler, but it feels almost like a full album. I mean, you're getting 8 songs, which is pretty good. We get At First Light. Again, wait, what? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't look at shit before you start talking about it. So this is basically just the same thing on side A and side B. It does make things easier for the DJ for some reason. That way you don't have to figure out what side you're on. But it wouldn't matter because it's not like you have a track list you're looking at anyway. So I don't know. I'm sure there was some promotional material, a letter, a card, something that came along with it. But those are some good selections from what I remember. Obviously, Ancient Dreams is going to be anything that's on is going to make me happy. Absolutely beautiful song. The atmosphere, the mood. It feels like I'm transported into a completely different world. Beauty and Darkness, another one that I just absolutely love. I'm going to have to give the other two a listen because it's been a while since I've listened to that album. But yeah, this is really good stuff. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. And even though it's kind of a bare bones release because it's not, again, not for public. So cool to have though. So what is going on? So today is Wednesday and I released my second part of my interview with the wonderful Mike and Julie Shannon talking about all things paranormal. We took our conversation to a whole nother level. It's really interesting because when you get people who are open-minded and not just stuck on this is the experience I had, I know what happened, I know what I'm talking about. When you look at, okay, but what if it meant this? Or what if this is what really happened? Or did you feel this way? Or, you just kind of open up the dialogue a little bit. Really amazing what kind of conversation you can get into, what we can look at for possibilities, trying to figure things out, even just throwing out ideas or helping kind of just calm feelings on a situation. Really cool. So I really enjoyed my conversation with them, and that is available now on the Haskincast podcast. Then, of course, Thursday and Friday, we have 2 more episodes of Deep Purple Smoke on the podcast. I also had a bonus episode this week of the Haskincast podcast, and so feel free to check that out in your podcast player. Also, the Boneless Podcasting Network has all of my shows as well as a plethora of other music-related podcasts. Really cool stuff. So check that out, and the link is on my website. You can also just look up the podcast Boneless Podcasting Network on your podcasting player, and lots of great stuff in there. I'm sorry, that won't be on your player. That is a separate app that you can get. But if you Google Boneless Podcasting Network, you can stream online or you can download the app. Really cool stuff that Chaz Charles put together, who has a bunch of his own podcasts. Great podcaster, really good guy, excellent guitarist. And yeah, I was really honored to have all of my shows added to that. So really cool stuff going on, guys. I hope everyone's gearing up for a wonderful Halloween. I do not have like a big Halloween album a day planned. I've pretty much gone through the majority of the catalog, just got a couple to go. Probably will do the CDs to keep this going while those other albums arrive. There's 2 more vinyls coming. They're actually both 45s, but they're coming from England. So they've just shipped a couple days ago. So it's going to be probably a month before they get here. And that is all for now. So I think I've got 1 more for tomorrow, and then we'll probably start hitting the CDs and keep this thing going for a little bit longer. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.